All right, welcome to day 12. We are going to study some arm muscles and muscle groups and all that fun stuff. We need to first finish this sleep on it page. So this was a fun, interesting pose. I remember this big bulge, and then it went in real tight. What was it? There was like a... Wait, this was opposite of what I was thinking. Something like that. I wish I had the actual book. I could erase a lot better on that paper. It's funny, I remember that little bit right there. I was noticing that I missed that. Okay, well, that's pretty good, actually. I mean, I rushed through this, but I'm pretty happy with what I retained. And I got that armpit bulge right. This here is still kind of a little question mark for me. I'm really satisfied with learning this part like I did. I feel like I'm pretty close now. Okay, so that's our sleep on it. Okay, so today, study the proportions of the arm and copy this drawing into the space below. This is basically just the skin overlaid over top of the muscles, and then underneath it, the same thing, but with the muscles. I'm going to use these guides here to kind of just to help you see how it's broken up into, you know, this muscle. You kind of have this space here that has the bicep, goes all the way and tucks in under the armpit. You have these forearm muscles, and then you have the just kind of the bones and skin and cartilage and whatever. So let's just look at this, try to see how everything's divided up, and then try to imitate it down here. All right, so first of all, we have this forearm, this bicep that kind of just goes to that line, almost to that line. And then we have this forearm muscle that goes to that line about. If you want to build this out, it would probably go something like that. Kind of emphasize that a little bit more than the drawing above. So again, with all these exercises, use your eraser. That's why you have it. You know, as good as you get, yes, you can lay down lines faster, you know, the more you practice this stuff. But you're always going to have to use your eraser. So get that whole concept out of your head that you can't, in order to be a good artist, you got to just make the first line perfect. You know, it just never happens. You can get close. That looks funny. That looks funny to me. Let's just try to get it a little closer. Now see, the advantage you guys have, if you're using the book, is you have nice, way nicer paper than I'm using. I'm just using regular copy paper, printed it out on my printer. That looks pretty good though. Okay, so we've practiced that. Let's go down here to the muscles now. Do the same thing. So we're going to just extend these lines over and just try to think of the muscle groups now. You can see how some of the tendons end up folding over top of the arms, over top of the other muscles. Here's that little armpit sac, whatever it's called. Sorry, I have never studied what the names of the muscles are. There's definitely plenty of anatomy books that do that, so I figured I wouldn't just recreate the same thing. Looks like I'm kind of getting this a little too far down. And then these muscles go across, and they kind of turn into tendons here. And then they turn into tendons. There you go. I don't personally like to do too many of these kind of drawings where it's just really deconstructing the muscles underneath, because for me, this has always been the most interesting thing to learn from, is actually the reality of what it looks like. Just trying to figure out those lines, you know. This is all great for really deconstructing the muscle groups and all that stuff, but you never, you don't really draw muscles like that unless that's part of a suit that's supposed to look like that. It's supposed to emphasize the muscles. So, but I think it's good to at least practice it and study it a little bit. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with these muscles. So the muscles of the arm and copy it into the space. So let's just start plowing through it. Well, I was way off. I didn't bring any construction lines over to give you any assistance here on this one. These muscles are interesting, how they wrap around the arm like this. Kind of bulges out. Something like that. Mine's a little bit more muscular looking than this reference, but that's okay. Then we forgot this little bone right here, the wrist bone, that kind of helps show off which angle we're looking at the hand. When you make that little bone poke out, it just helps show, if you have that bone over here, suddenly it starts looking confusing all of a sudden. Like, wait, which side is the arm? What side of the hand is this? So this side is more smooth. And this nice notch sticks out right there, and boom, suddenly you know that this is this side of the hand. If we were to put that bone here, it would be on this side now. Now we got our little boxes here drawn out, so now the trick is, how would this work, if this arm is twisted? Well, we know that we have these muscles like this. And then we know we have these. Would it be something like that? That would be my guess. And this is kind of more hidden underneath. Right? This would be the rib cage, right? Maybe. Anyway, that's how I'd think about it. Boom. So yeah, I didn't read the directions, but it says, can you challenge yourself and figure out how to draw the muscles up on this arm? Note, the hand is facing the opposite direction. How will that change the muscles? So we've just kind of, what's happened is these muscles that were twisted this way are now twisting back. You know? They were twisted like this. Now they've twisted back. Obviously, we're going to do a lot of cognitive drawing studies of this arm, and so we're going to get to know all the muscles of this arm in detail, and hopefully we'll have it memorized by the time we're done. At least a lot more memorized than what we had here. Alrighty, we have day 12 right here. Just try to figure out all this stuff. And if you have to look back at some other pages, if you have to flip through the book to find some other examples of this to help you with it, then go ahead and do that. But just see if you can do it, figure it out from what you know first. And that's the end of day 12. Nice short lesson. Day 13, we'll start doing some cognitive drawing of the arms. All right, see you tomorrow.